our final game, Chris, we had Florida take on Ole Miss over the weekend, and Florida made it. They made it interesting. They wanted they wanted to stick it to Lane before they open up the doors to Lane and tell them, welcome to the University of Florida. We're glad to have
sweat.
you.
They weren't trying to make Lane look bad. They said we're gonna make you sweat a little bit.
I think that's what it was.
we can't mess up our asset. We need you to make the playoffs now. But we just gonna make you. You gonna work for this dollar. You gonna work for this money.
Yeah, no. I think that's what Florida had on their mind throughout the whole game. Yeah, 34-24 was your final in this one. Ole Miss came back from behind and won this game soundly at the end. One of the biggest things, Chris, that I wanted to kind of delve into is we've been knowing the last couple of days, and there's been updates on this, is that um, Florida has their guy, and that guy is Lane Kiffin. And it's just a matter of time of the announcement being made that Florida has hired Lane Kiffin as their brand new head football coach going into next season. This creates a big dilemma, Chris, for Ole Miss. You're heading into the postseason.
Did Nico say that they have their eyes keen on Lane?
I think so. I mean, on three,
Nico Thamel.
Yeah. Pretty much everyone out there has pretty much, even some of like the lower tier insiders have started to hear, word from just the whole situation is that Florida is going to hire Lane Kiffin as their head coach, and a lot of this is dealing with like Vegas odds. Of course, usually Vegas had Lane
Vegas
Kiffin.
Got the scoop.
Yeah, they had the scoop. This all started, folks. If you're kind of in the weeds on a lot of this, is that Vegas had odds of Lane Kiffin becoming the next head coach of the University of Florida a couple of days ago. And recently they took down the betting odds of that. And essentially when you hear those things happen, you kind of start getting word from, insiders that's within the know, leaking information that this is going to happen, and the word is going to get out. When it's going to get out, we'll see. Some people say it is very, very imminent. Like right now, Ole Miss is going to be on a bye week before the Egg Bowl, so who knows? We may hear it sometime this week.
He ain't shut it down either in his post game presser.
No, he did not.
He said he wants to focus on this team, and it would be fair to these guys, to paraphrase. Not trying to put words in his mouth, but to paraphrase, it wouldn't be fair to this team and what they got going on this season to be talking about those outside endeavors. He's focused on these guys and what they're doing right now, which is code for what Magic Johnson say. I ain't gonna be here.
Oh man. Oh no. How can we not forget those words from the one Magic Johnson? But no, you're absolutely right, Chris.
Yeah. So we'll see how that whole situation plays out. But at least Lane has this team playing where no matter what was being said, we just gonna make the most of what our situation is right now together. And I can tell you 100%, regardless of what's going on the outside, Kory, he is 100% locked in on what this team is doing. This year's team, this 2025 Ole Miss Rebels team, and what they got going on. He's all in on these guys. He's going to try to coach to the best of his abilities and make sure these guys have their best opportunity to make the playoff and win a national championship. And they got a good squad. I don't know if this team is built to make a serious run in the playoff. However, they should make the playoffs. and we'll see how they finish out the season. You don't want to lose to Mississippi State. That'd be a very bad loss, and it puts you in a precarious position when it comes to the seeding if you were to drop the ball like that. But the way their schedule has is currently set up, Kory, they are in a good position, to say the least, to walk into the playoff as a one loss team.
Yeah, yeah. I think they've definitely created um a great scenario for themselves this season. They've laid the groundwork. They've won the games that they needed to. They definitely had a game with Georgia, and Georgia found a way to squeeze through with the victory in that one. So yeah, I think Ole Miss for the most part this season has been playing lights out this year, and yeah, now they just got to finish at this point. Yeah, you have the Egg Bowl, always a tough game. Indeed, you're gonna have Mississippi State coming into that game being desperate because they're trying to get bowl eligible for the first time in like what 3 years at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, uh, all that goes through the Egg Bowl, and if you're Ole Miss, you're trying to stay in playoff contention, flat out. And yeah, you have all this going on, Chris, and I forgot to mention this part. So, in terms of Florida wanting Lane Kiffin, potentially there could be a scenario where there's like two contracts going on, and one of those contracts, the one being from Ole Miss, Ole Miss has leverage, possibly to not keep Lane around to coach in the playoffs if they see fit. And that's just mainly due to if he's leaving, they have to find the next guy to coach
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss and not just coach, find players. So they have to
Mm-hmm.
get on the ground running then. Like it especially next month in December because you have the early signing period.
Which is
Um,
basically the signing period now.
Right, it is the signing period now, so you can't have any margin of error for that if you're trying to keep things going in the right direction in Oxford. This creates a big scenario for Ole Miss Chris where it can either go one or two ways. You can either figure it out and try to keep Lane Kiffin some kind of way, or either find your new guy and also have to deal with the growing pains of like the new early signing period, and if you go into the playoffs, you have to kind of deal with this lower period where a lot of these guys that probably want to go to Ole Miss don't really have all the answers yet because this isn't going to be some kind of overnight thing that takes place in trying to find the next guy if that
Mm-hmm.
comes to fruition. So it's a lot of crazy moving parts that are going on with Ole Miss in this situation, Chris. But hey, a lot of people want Lane Kiffin to be their next head football coach, in Florida is that team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see how it all plays out. At the end of the day, all you can hope for and just do play the games and win.
Mm-hmm.
And then if he leaves, you deal with the aftermath. Like you said, it's going to be fast. It's going to be fast. You gotta you gotta get it figured out quickly. I'm sure um, was it Mr. Carter and those people who are some of the higher ups at Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
They're all they whether it's official or not, they have a plan in place that who knows, they could have been working on this for a year now, Kory. You know, Lane Kiffin's name has popped up year in and year out. And I'm pretty sure the people at Ole Miss are well aware of where they stand in the pecking order of the hierarchy of coaching positions.
Mm-hmm.
And You always, in today's college football landscape, with how things can change so quickly, you got to have a plan in place in case you got to break the emergency glass and all hell breaks loose, and your coach does go elsewhere. So we'll see just how well structured of athletic department Ole Miss is, and based off what we've seen, I feel like they can handle the search if things are to lead them to that, where they have to have a search. I feel like they are prepared to do so. Um, they have had great structuring with NIL and have been on top of things from the beginning with NIL. They have been doing things the right way with the portal. And just based off the moves that they have made, how this department has been ran with Lane Kiffin as his head coach, I think they can do a good job with a quick search. So we'll see if all else if it gets to that point. I think we'll see what Ole Miss is made of as an athletic department.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Chris. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they can handle all of this because this is a crazy time. You
It's
got to
uncharted territory.
it is. It definitely is. Like you have a Ole Miss team destined for greatness in the college football playoff on top of your coach leaving and you need to find the next guy for the next season. And then you got to, have some retention as
Mm-hmm.
bringing in, new players, but also players of the same caliber of what's there now. So it's a lot of moving parts, and it's gonna be
But I bet
interesting
you
to see.
they'll sign up for it 10 times out of 10. With winning comes the possibility of your coach leaving, especially if we're gonna keep it real. You want the Mississippi schools, Kory,
Mm-hmm.
because the Mississippi schools ain't supposed to win. Ole Miss ain't supposed to be in the playoffs. Mississippi State isn't supposed to be in the playoffs. This
well,
isn't how this goes in the SEC.
well, all I have to say, at this point, you Jeff Levy, you got a statue out there playing quarterback. Maybe you're the odd man out of this. It's just Ole Miss at this point. So, but no, I definitely agree with what you're saying, Chris. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens going forward with this. But yeah, uncharted territories. But if you're Ole Miss, you expect this, and now you're just looking to try to build off of this by finishing the right way and finding the right guy into the program to keep this thing going. Because I think Ole Miss athletic department they know football right now is key for them to be successful going forward. We will see.